Hey guys, Michael here. I'm back with another xTool DTF and automatic shaker oven video. In this video, I'm going to do a couple of print jobs to show you what it's like to go through the process. Now, while I've been learning this, if you haven't seen my videos before, I'm actually brand new to DTF printing, and this is my first DTF printer, and I'm learning as I'm going along. Now, as I'm working with this printer, I did a couple of test prints and worked on just just printing on the film. And I said, okay, let's just test print on a canvas. So I took a canvas bag and I did a couple of test prints. This first one right here on the left, this is our logo. It is a little bit messed up, and that's because I messed something up after the fact. It looked great the first time. The second one I printed, and I was playing with instead of the default settings, I tried to reduce the amount of white ink I used. That was one mistake. I should have left that alone, because this third one on the right hand side, this one is printed with the default settings and it looks much better. With the reduced white, it actually, you can kind of see through the object, you can see the canvas bag, and that was not a good idea to do that. And on this one here, the reason why it's messed up is I put this one on first, came back later, and I print this one on. When I put it in the heat press, I should have put a piece of parchment paper over this. I didn't, so it kind of peeled up and stuck to the bottom of the heat press. Heat press is not ruined, but it did kind of mess this up on the test prints. Another test print that I did was this t-shirt. So this one came out really well. I did turn off the white on this one completely, because you can see this image only has two colors, and I don't need the white background for this. I don't need the white ink at all. So I turned that off. And this one came out really well. When I say turn off the white ink, again, this is me learning. I think you're supposed to turn the white ink off when you don't need white at all. And I say that because I have a sample that I haven't actually printed on anything. I printed this with, it's a black image with white, and I left the white on. You see there's white in the back, and it kind of does that by default and puts a white on there, so it sprinkles powder on there so you can glue it down. But if you can see here, there's a haze around that black image. Now, if I took this and put it on, like, say, a gray t-shirt, blue t-shirt, whatever, you would see that white outline in there, and you don't want that. So I should have turned the white off, and that's just something I had learned. All right, so speaking of this, it's been a while since I've actually used this printer. I let it sit for some time. Life got in the way, and I'm here to try to test print for you guys, and it's acting up. So I've had it plugged in for this whole time. I can hear it buzzing and whirring and making all these noises every now and then. And sure enough, when I took a look at this, it actually has a little motor. If you lift this up, there's the color inks in there, and on the right hand side there's a white one. Inside the white one, at least that's the only one I can see through, it has a little propeller in there, and it spins. It spins every hour to stir the white ink. And it's not really loud, but if it were in my bedroom at night, it would probably keep me awake every hour, going off and spinning. It does have a slight hum. It's not loud, but you do hear that it is on. So again, it's been sitting for a while, and I wanted to, when I turned it on, let's just do a cleaning. I hit the cleaning button. Let's do a test print. There's a cleaning button in here and a test print button. When I pressed it, it prints the sample page. See this white? It's missing a bunch of spots on the bottom. So that tells me that the print head it needs to be kind of ran through. So I just did clean and test print, clean and test print. I did that 10 times until I finally got a test print. Looks like this. You can see it's much better. And right here, this number is 5 7/8 of an inch, basically 6 inches. Each of these test prints took 6 inches of that DTF film. So I wasted 60 inches on this. I don't know if that's because I've had it sitting for so long, but that is, what I've seen so far. Also, when it comes to printing, after I did the test prints, I did another print. This is my print, and you see these numbers on here? This is the size of everything after this printed. There's an 1.75 inches from the top of film. This is a 2-inch image, and down the bottom it's 6.75 inches at the bottom. So that is quite a bit of film, and I'm thinking that's just the requirement needed to run through the shaker oven. I don't know if it's always the same distance top and bottom, or is it just the overall total height of this thing. I'll measure that when I do the test print. So speaking of test prints, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print a plain black one. I'm going to print my logo and I'm going to put it on an older t-shirt. Also, I have a white t-shirt. I'm going to print out a Minnie Mouse on the white t-shirt and just try to put it in the center. And yeah, so let's head over to XCS and I'll show you how to print on the xTool DTF printer. Okay, here we are in XCS, and I'm going to go ahead and connect to my printer. I'm just going to click the connect button and hit connect. Right now, the printer is sleeping. When I do this, the printer automatically wakes up and it starts making this noise. So I can hear the oven going, and what's happening inside here, there's a little belt, and the belt is spinning, and there's a little gear spinning, and it's moving the powder. It's bringing the powder up into the top so that it can shake it down later on. It was really interesting to watch this when you first get this thing set up and use it for the first time, because that top part has to fill up. But now that it's full, it just makes the noise and it runs for a while. Eventually it will stop, but it does do this every time. So with that set up, I'm going to come back over here to XCS. I'm going to ignore the firmware version for right now. And this is what it looks like inside XCS. I have the automatic shaker oven connected to the Apparel Printer, and I also have my AP2 that has been connected with XCS as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is insert a black image for my old t-shirt, and you would just insert an image over here like we normally do on a laser engraver if you used XCS before. All right, I have the image inserted, and if it's a lower resolution, it's going to let you know that this is needs to be enhanced. Do I want to enhance it? I'm going to just say no and hit cancel. So this image currently is 4.5 by 4.5. I'm going to make it 4 inches square. So it's 4 by 4. Over here on the right hand side, this is where I was talking about where you can adjust the white. Right now, I'm just using either reference or user defined. Reference is the only reference we have is DTF film. I'm going to adjust this. So I'm going to click on adjust and turn this off to no fill. Over here on the bottom right, you can click mockup, and it allows you to pick different shirt types, and you can see your object based on the item size, the image size, along with the shirt size to see what it looks like on a t-shirt. So once you're done viewing that, you can close this or you can hit print. I'm going to just go ahead and close this, and I'm going to come down to the bottom and hit print. As you can see, it's printed backwards, so you don't have to flip the image, and you just come over here and hit print. And now the printer started, and what it's going to do is actually start warming up and start printing. Let me see if I can get you over there and you can see what it looks like. So on the top here, you can see that the powder is starting to shake on top of the image, and it is now shaking it down into the bin. After that, it's going to go down into the oven. So there's powder on the ink ready to be applied to a t-shirt, and now it's going to the oven to start baking. Okay, it just came out, and this is what it looks like. This is one side, the other side. This is this side you're looking at. It's the side with the powder on it. That's why it's backwards. Let's take some measurements real quick. So above the image, it's 1.75. Below the image, it is almost 5 inches. So it's a little bit different than the other one, but still 5, 6, 6 3/4 inches total. Wasted film. I don't know if it's wasted or not, but that's how much it is right now. And I don't know if that'll be adjusted later, but that's 1 3/4 above, almost 5 inches below. So yeah, that's the film that I have. So let's take this and put it on a t-shirt real quick. All right, so I'm going to use the xTool Easy Press with the stand here. I have it set up for 320 degrees Fahrenheit and 30 seconds press time. And I'm running this at a medium pressure. Now I have the t-shirt in here already ready to go. I need to do a quick press on it to remove the moisture from the shirt. Just 3-4 seconds. Make sure the moisture is removed. Make sure it's flat. I also have a lint roller here to make sure that there's no lint on here. With that all set up, I'm going to cover up this old logo and see how this works. So I'm just going to put this on there. And I think that'll cover it up pretty good. It's pretty straight. Swing this around. And I'm going to press this for 30 seconds. Start the timer. Okay, let's see how well this comes off. All right, and I'm going to take a piece of parchment paper and do one more press, about half the amount of time that I did originally. All right, let me set this off to the side, let it cool. Okay, that was the first one. Now let's do one in color. Let's hop back on the XCS and let's get to it. So I'm done with this one. Let me select it and hit delete. Then I'm going to come over here and insert my next image. This one's a high-res image, and I'm going to need to reduce it. So I'm going to select the image and make it 8 inches wide. Actually, I'm going to make it 6 inches wide. All right, 6-inch wide image. I'm going to go ahead and come over here and pick, instead of user defined, I'm just going to pick reference. So everything's back to normal. And you can see right here, these are the settings that I have. I'm going to leave that alone and not touch it. I am not going to mock it up. I'm just going to jump to print. Double check the preview and hit print. All right, it's printing again. Now this time it's going to have white ink on the back side of it. Let me show you what that looks like. It's going to start off with all the colors except for the white. And then here in a minute, it's going to start adding the white to it. There it is. So now we're coming into the shaker oven portion. It's going to start feeding the image and start shaking the powder on top of it. And now it's going to start shaking all the excess powder off. Once that's complete, it's going to feed it through the oven. So while we wait on this oven to heat the powder and get it ready to press on a t-shirt, I do want to take a moment to ask that if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. That really does help the algorithms out there, and it just helps my channel grow. So I'd appreciate if you did that. Also, when it comes to the shaker oven, this is such an easy process. I haven't had many issues minus getting the right firmware from xTool. Once I had that right firmware on there, I've had no problems with this thing. It's literally load up the image, hit print, and you got an image ready to heat press. I have not had to worry about any type of cleaning yet. I will say that this oven does get hot because you're heating up that powder, and the hose on the backside does get pretty warm. As you can see here, this is how hot I measured using a thermometer, and yeah, you have to be careful with that hose. Also, that hot air coming out of the oven going into, let's say if you're using the AP2, it's going to cause that temperature difference is going to cause condensation. I've seen people say that condensation wants to build up in the hose and go into the AP2 to actually clog up the filters a little bit faster, and you're almost better off going outside versus extracting inside the AP2. I don't know yet. I haven't done the outside thing right now. My windows are closed and I'm using the AP2, but I'll see how that works and how does that affect my AP2 and let you guys know as I learn more about that. In case you're wondering how much time this has left, you can always look here on the top screen, and this is at 77%. So I'm almost finished with running that film all the way through the heater. This does not tell you on XCS the time you need to use the screen on the actual printer. Now, I don't know if eventually they're going to change the updates where you can see the time in XCS, but right now you have to actually visually see it on top of that printer. And then also, while this is running, the oven's hot, there's fans going, stuff like that. After this prints and you wait a little bit, it does quiet down. I'm not sure if you can hear it right now because this mic may have a noise canceling feature, but it does quieten down. And eventually when it goes to sleep, it will actually, when it goes to sleep, it'll actually almost be silent, except for that whirring sound you would hear when that motor spins every hour. To force this thing to go to sleep, what I found was when I'm all said and done, if I long press the single button that's on top of this printer, if I long press it, it actually forces it to go to sleep, and I haven't had any issues doing it that way. If you notice, I did not have the print output tray installed on here because this is sort of in a working area, and I don't want this to actually get stepped on. And I'm not doing full production prints on this yet where I need to worry about catching it and touching the ground. Honestly, these have not, maybe because I'm doing smaller prints, these have not coming out onto the ground where they would actually land on the output tray. So right now, when it's finished, I actually have to kind of reach my hand in there and grab it. It's still on the bottom, but it's just not falling out. I think it would if you actually printed a bigger print where it had to push out more as it actually baked in the oven. All right, this one's finished. This is what it looks like on the front. This is what it looks like on the back. So let's press this on a shirt. All right, I got it finished up. I printed 2 different prints. This is the first one, the result of the first one. This is just an old t-shirt that I had. It's already stained, and I just put my logo on there just to test out the plain black logo, and that came out really well. And then here's my other one right here. And this one, it looks really good. The colors look nice. It feels really well. I don't feel anything around it, like any extra powder or anything. So I'm happy with this. Like I said, this is a really easy process. I don't know what I'm doing yet, and this is really beginner friendly. Now, as far as the details go and all the settings inside XCS, that's a higher learning curve. But just getting started, being able to print, pulling up an image and printing it on a shirt or any type of material, it's pretty much click and you're done. And so yeah, I'm really happy with this process. I do have some more learning when it comes to DTF printing, but as you can see, this is really easy to do. That's all I want to share with you guys. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.